There are many things in OnlyFans management that I am not good at, but one of the things that I am a fucking amazing, unparalleled beast at is identifying talented potential chatters and training them to produce results in 5 days. And in this video, I'm going to give you my training system for hiring and train. Well, sorry, actually my chatting system, how to execute the chatting itself. And yeah, that's it. What's up, everybody? Yala Poppy from simphunter.com. Go check out my website and fucking download my book and blah, blah, blah. Join my group, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, and like this video, subscribe. Yeah. Okay. I forgot to say that in the last video. All right. So my system for chatting, here it is. Let's get right into it. The first thing that you need to do, every new fan, okay? When I say every new fan, I mean every new fan. Like not some of them, every new fan. Everybody who subscribes to the page. And you have 60,000 free subs, fine. You're sending 60,000 fucking messages. Every new fan needs to receive a personalized message from the chatter. What is a personalized message? Well, I'm glad you asked, random viewer. A personalized message is a message that makes it extremely clear to the recipient that the message was sent for them and is not a mass message and is not a bot and is not a generalized opener. So, and the reason, I'll tell you the reason for this, why it's so effective, and then I'll explain a little bit more about how to do it. The reason for this is because fans are bombarded a million times a day with mass messages, copy paste bullshit, and they ignore it. You know, they don't care. They literally do not care. And if they don't ignore it, they still know that it's a mass message, and it's very it's a bad customer experience because they know it's just bullshit. You know what I mean? They know you are only sending that message because you want to make a sale. However, if you send a personalized message, then the experience is that the message was intended for them, and that, I guess, implies that like you actually wanted to talk to them and you're not just looking for anybody to talk to. I'll give you an example really quick and then we'll get into how you do it. Think about yourself. Let's say you get a mass message on Telegram. Somebody's like, hey, we're selling Reddit accounts and these Reddit accounts are the best and fucking $10, $20. We have different types. Go check our website, blah, blah, blah. You're like, okay, fine, whatever. If you get a message from somebody, on the other hand, okay, example number 2, where somebody reaches out to you and let's say your username is fucking Billy Bob, I don't know. And they're like, hey, Billy Bob, I saw in the Simp Hunter group chat that you mentioned that you or do Reddit, or you asked a question about Reddit. I just wanted to let you know that our store has Reddit accounts. They're $40. They have female names, blah, blah, blah. Your little pitch. Which one of those messages do you think is going to work better? Now, obviously the second one. Now, the reason why people rely on the first one is because it's easier, because you can message 5,000 people with a click of a button and be like, oh, well, I guess, some of them will convert. But the problem is you ruin the relationship by doing that. It cheapens it. Whereas imagine how strong the relationship will be with that one person. And I would be willing to wager that many of you, regardless of what business you run, you would prefer to get one very strong, loyal, good customer than you would prefer to spam your shit to fucking whoever and hope that maybe they buy because they're in the mood to buy at that exact second, even though your pitch is garbage. Or your pitch is generalized and obvious that it's generalized. Now, how do you do this? Well, I'll tell you briefly. I don't want to fucking go into it. It's going to be a long-ass video. The way that you do it is you send a message that is a play on the username. Now, on OnlyFans, this is a little bit difficult because a lot of the usernames are like U526734451, whatever, fine. Still, if it's not that, let's say it's not that, and I'll tell you what to do if it is that. Let's say it's not that. His name is Billy Bob. Hey, Billy Bob, are you Billy Bob Thornton? Hey, Billy Bob, your name reminds me of McDonald's. Like, do you work at McDonald's? I don't know, whatever. The point is that it doesn't need to be clever. Like, it just needs to be personalized. That's all. Now, if their username is you fucking 5643321, whatever, then you got to be a little bit more creative. Then you could be like, hey, you blah, 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 blah. I bet you chose that username on purpose because your favorite number is 54321, whatever. And like, okay, that's not, you know, that's not going to fucking make anybody like fall on the floor and start laughing. But it's very clear to the recipient of that message was sent to them and only to them. That wasn't fucking spam to everybody. And furthermore, what the fuck do you care? You're hiring these fucking chatters to do it anyway. It's their job. Their job is to do whatever you tell them to do, period. Okay. Their job is not to do what they think they should do or what they did at their last chatter job. Their job is to do what you tell them to do. Or that's the approach that I take. I don't give a fuck what my chatters learned elsewhere. They are going to do what I tell them to do because I know better than them and I'm paying their fucking salary. If they don't like it, go start your own fucking OnlyFans agency. Go work for somebody else who will let you do whatever you want because we're not doing that where I am. Okay. Personalized messages, number one. Number two, they want to qualify fans for 10 to 15 messages before trying to sell content. Now, a lot of what you will see in OnlyFans chats, if you deign to look, and it's shocking to me how many agency owners, I should start doing audits. Would you like me to audit your OnlyFans chats? I would be happy to do it. I'd be happy to do it. Although, to be perfectly honest, you don't need me to do it. You can fucking open your eyes and go look at the chats and see how dog shit they are anyway. However, let's get to point number two. Qualify fans. Now, what does this mean? If you look at most OnlyFans chats, what happens is that the fan, like, let's say the fan reaches out and he's like, hey, oh my God, I saw you on Instagram. You're so beautiful. Your eyes are so blah, blah, blah. And what will the chatter do? The chatter will try to turn the conversation sexual immediately. Be like, oh, well, thank you. I know, like, they turn you on, don't they? Or like, you probably want to see something more sexy, don't you? Right? These fans are not stupid. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a turnoff. Go, any gentleman, any men from a first world country, make a profile on seeking.com. Okay. Make a profile on seeking.com because you need to understand what this is like. You need to understand what it is, what it feels like. I should make that in another video. Make a profile on seeking.com. You need to understand what it feels like to have somebody be nice to you because they want your money. And in a romantic sense or a sexual sense, because that is something that most, like 999 out of 1,000 men don't understand what that's like. We have no frame of reference. And you need to put yourself in that position. And when you go on seeking.com and you make that like profile, seeking.com, by the way, is a fucking website for gold diggers and sugar daddies who want to like date, want to make an arrangement. And you know, you might be, let's say you're a rich, well-to-do man. You might be willing to fucking spend money on a girl, but like you don't want her to bring it to your attention that you are doing it. It's very similar, by the way. What's the reverse of this dynamic? The reverse of this dynamic is like you're talking to a girl. She knows you want to fuck her. She knows you want to stick your dick inside her, but you can't bring it to her attention. You have to like pretend like you're interested in her. Go through the motions. You know what I mean? And if you are interested in her, great. But like you still need to pretend. You need to not necessarily distract her from that, but you need to give her enough of a good experience on the way to that by the time that is going to happen, you don't care. Because you're like, well, she's actually really cool. Or she's thinking about you. Well, he's actually a really cool guy. So yeah, I guess I'll fuck him. Why not? And it's the same thing with fans, except with fans, what they're thinking is like, well, she's really, you know, whatever. Let's say you actually take an interest and start talking to fans, or your chatter does, and get to know them. It's fucking crazy talk, right? Instead of just right out of the gate trying to sell them a fucking video. If they feel heard, if they feel that somebody has listened to them, then they'll be like, wow, you know what? This girl's actually really cool. She's not like all the other fucking sluts trying to sell me content. This girl's actually interesting. I actually enjoy talking to. She actually asked me questions about myself. Yeah, I'll buy your fucking video, $50. I don't give a fuck because you're cool. All right. So qualify fans. What does that mean? That means you need to get information about themselves or about them. You need to ask them questions. For example, Now, this comes from sales. If you want to qualify a buyer, let's say you want to qualify a lead, qualify a prospect, what you are going to do is you are going to ask them questions that will cause them to reveal information about themselves to see whether or not a sales conversation, a sales process, that's not the right word, whether or not you should try to sell to them, basically, right? For example, you're trying to sell water. Oh, that's a bad example, actually. Let's say content on OnlyFans, right? Before you try to sell content to a sub, you want to know how old they are. You want to know where they work. You want to know what country they're in. You want to know all this stuff because that information will let you know if you should put any time and effort into them. Most chatters don't. Most chatters are lazy. They're looking for the quick money. They don't fucking care, and they'll spam shit everywhere. So by qualifying fans, oh, how old are you? And the best way to do this, by the way, pro tip, is to phrase it as a statement so you don't go into interview mode. Oh, the fan says, he reaches out, he's like, oh my God, you have such beautiful eyes. And the chatter's response would be, oh my God, thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say that. I bet you're from Colorado. Random shit. I bet you're from Colorado because like all the guys from Colorado are super nice. They're such gentlemen. And then what's going to happen? The guy's like, no, actually, I'm from Florida. But good guess. I lived in Colorado once. And then the girl's like, oh my God, no. And the chatter, oh my God, no way. Florida? I love Florida. Disneyland is the best. What else is in Florida? Fucking Miami. So cool. I really want to go there one day. Right? And it leads to an actual conversation. But now, what do you know about this fucking dickhead? Right? You know that he used to live in Colorado. You know now that he lives in Florida. And from there, you can lead that into a conversation about more information about him. Oh, what do you do for work? Or like, do you work at Disney World? Or you probably work at Disney World, don't you? Like you're the guy in the Mickey Mouse costume. Ha ha ha. And then he'll be like, oh, haha, yeah, no, whatever. Who gives a fuck what he says? He's going to correct what you say. He's going to say what he actually does. No, actually, I'm a fucking paper towel engineer, fucking something, whatever. Be like, oh, cool, paper towel engineer. I don't know. You get the idea. But the point is that he's giving you information about him so that you can decide if you want to put effort into him, number one, and so that he will feel that you are giving him a good experience. It's going to be a long video. All right, number 3. The third thing that you want to do is you want to build commonalities with fans based on how they were qualified. Now, before I go into this, I will let you guys know that if you're looking for a deep dive in this, go to my website, simphunter.com, go read the article about chatting. It's fucking all in there. The whole thing is a fucking breakdown on this process. Well, most of this process, at least. Maybe I could update it or write a part 2, whatever. We'll see. Building commonalities. What does that mean? Now, I'll tell you why you need to build a commonality. You need to build commonalities with people because you need the fan to believe that he and the girl have things in common. Okay, this is next level shit. This is shit that you should be teaching your chatters. This is how to do the girlfriend experience. This is how to get these guys to fall in love with you. This is how to fucking like get more than the fucking quick impulsive one hand on my dick, one hand on the keyboard sales. And how to get good chatters. Anyway, build commonalities with them so that the guy will feel that he has things in common with the girl. So what does this mean? Those of you who have been following me for a very long time, okay, you know a lot about me. You know I live in Miami. You know I struggle with traffic. You know I'm Jewish. Maybe you know I lived in Israel for a while. Maybe you know I was in the military. Maybe you know that I drink water, right? All of these things, okay, all of these tiny little details about me that you may or may not know, what happens when we talk to other people or when we observe other people is that every piece of information that they give us about them or that we witness about them, we automatically think, okay, do I have that in common with them, right? So out of all the stuff that I've said, there are, let's say, 5 things that you and I know that we have in common. And as a result, you are going to feel closer to me as opposed to if you did not know those things. And that means, who cares, right? That means that if I try to sell you something, let's say, you will be more likely to buy it because you feel that we have things in common. I'll give you another great example, okay? Before I got into OFM, how did I get into OFM? I was on a break from my previous job, which was seasonal, which was not going door to door selling roof repair. I don't want to get into it, but basically, like, it was in an area with lots of hailstorms. You knock on the door, you do an inspect. Anyway, whatever. Fucking seasonal job, door to door. I lived in Minnesota. It was fucking 10 degrees outside, so you obviously can't go door to door. The roof is frozen over. You can't go check the roof. So I'm on a break, and I'm like, I hate this job. I want to leave. I'm going to start a business. So this was around the same time where Andrew Tate started to blow up the first time. And I kind of saw this, and I was like, what's up with this Andrew Tate guy? Because, like, I'd heard about him, and, like, I kind of knew who he was, but I didn't really, I didn't know that much. So I started watching some interviews, and I was like, oh, well, a lot of the stuff this guy says really makes a lot of sense. And then I saw that he had some old info products that were, now available for free because they're very old. Hustlers University. If you guys know about Hustlers University, not the current iteration, which is the Real World, which is his online training platform. But Hustlers University was originally a $500 info product that is essentially 100 business lessons that he sits in front of a camera and says, lesson number 1, lesson number 2, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, I saw this and I was like, oh, okay, well, I wonder if I can get a free copy of that. So I found a free copy, and in the first minute, this was like the first thing that I watched. Actually, now that I think about it, I didn't watch his interviews. I think this was the first thing that I saw of his. Within the first minute or two, he's talking, and he's like, one of the first things he says is that he worked in commission-only sales, and, like, he cut his teeth in commission-only sales. And I'm watching this as somebody who has worked in who had worked in commission-only sales for, fucking almost 15 years. And I saw that, and I was like, oh my God, I can trust what this guy says, because he's been through the same struggle that I've been through. He understands life in the same way that I do, because we share that experience. Is that true? Who knows? I mean, I think it is, because we did have that in common, but that's how commonalities work. Now, when you build commonalities with fans, it doesn't need to be that deep. Okay, it doesn't need to be we did the same job, or we're from the same town, or we like the same food, or fucking whatever. It just needs to be anything about what they said. For example, let's go back to the fucking Disneyland example, right? Okay, you meet a guy, you find out you qualify him on where he lives, you want to see he's American, is he fucking Indian, whatever. He's like, oh, you find out he's American, you find out he lives in Florida. And what you want to do is you want to build a commonality around the fact that he lives in Florida. So you don't have to, okay, what most chatters do when they hear about building commonalities is they will do what I have called, what I phrase as dick sucking, which is basically where they just dump all of this fucking praise on the sub for, like, anything that they say about themselves. Oh my God, you're from Florida. Wow, people from Florida are the coolest. Oh my God, you're so cool. Whoa, Florida. I can't believe I'm talking to somebody from Florida. It's like, he said he was from Florida. He didn't say he fucking cured cancer. Like, why are you sucking his dick like that? Stop. So building a commonality instead is verbally addressing some sort, or stating some sort of connection between what they said and something about your own life. So it can be like, oh, you're from Florida? Cool. I've always wanted to go to Disney World. That's it. That's the commonality. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. Oh, you're from Florida? Do you live near the beach? I love the ocean. Oh, you're from Florida? Have you seen the Florida Man meme on Reddit? That's so funny. Ha ha ha. Are you Florida Man? Right? That's a commonality. You basically say something about what they said that relates to you in some way. Oh, Florida. Wow. I saw a documentary on Florida once. It looks so cool. I'd love to go there. Nothing crazy. But, like, when you say these things, what happens? A couple things happen. But basically the point is that when you say these things, the sub will think that anything nice that you say about them after that is because you guys have stuff in common, and not because you want to sell them shit. Like, and okay, maybe, I realize this doesn't occur to most people, and I'm fucking, veins are popping out of me, like, trying to explain this to people. But, and most of the people I talk to are chatters from the Philippines. So that might be why I'm so frustrated. But you guys as agency owners, you need to understand this, because if you have dog shit chatters, it means that you are dog shit at chatting. Sorry, not sorry, but that's a fact. So you guys got to learn this. All right. The next thing. Fans who have never purchased, start with small sales. Now, there's this sentiment on Telegram from some very experienced agency owners that is perpetuated, where selling content for a low price is frowned upon. Okay. Now, I believe this sets wrong expectations for new agency owners and will lead to a lot of frustration. What I mean by this, what am I talking about specifically? You'll see in Telegram, people are like, oh my God, like this model was selling things for $3, selling things for $5, and then I took over and now she's making $1 bazillion, right? There's this idea of like anybody who sells anything like, oh, you sold something for $20? Oh my, you're lowering the value of your model. Fair, fine. But like at the end of the day, if you go through the qualifying, if you go and you build some commonalities, and then the first thing that you try to sell them is, is at a price that causes them moderate emotional anguish when they think about spending that money, unless the commonalities are really fucking strong or they're super horny, they're not going to buy it. Whereas if you send them a PPV, the first PPV that you send them, let's just say, I know I'm going to get fucking flamed for this. I don't give a fuck. Let's say it's $3. Can you even sell anything for $3? I don't even know. Let's say you can. Let's say it's $3. They're going to open it because it's $3. Who's not going to open it? Everybody's going to open it for curiosity. It's $3. Who gives a fuck? And if they don't open it for $3, you stop talking to them because they're not even going to pay $3. Why are you fucking talking to them? Why are you being nice to them? Goodbye. Next. So that's number one. You'll filter for people who aren't going to buy anyway. If they're not going to buy for $3, they're not going to buy for anything else ever. So fuck them. Number two, the idea in selling, and I learned this from retail. Okay, there's in Hebrew we call it liftoch chakrot, which basically means open the chakra. So any of you who have ever gone on a shopping spree, and this is something that I've witnessed every Saturday when I worked at the mall, and that I've experienced myself when I go to shop. When I say shop, I mean like retail shopping, not fucking grocery shopping. Even grocery shopping happens, right? This idea where when you go shopping, okay, as soon as you buy one thing, as soon as you buy your first thing, you don't care about buying stuff anymore. For example, like let's say you're going shopping and you haven't spent any money yet and you're looking around, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't see anything I like. And then you go and you buy a shirt for $20. You bought that shirt for $20. So now you're like, you know what? I just bought that shirt. Oh, maybe I'll get some pants. Maybe I'll get a fucking belt. Maybe I'll get a bag. Maybe I'll get some shoes, right? And it just leads to more and more and more purchases. And then let's say you've bought $200 worth of stuff. Going and buying something for $75 after that doesn't seem like such a big deal because you do the calculation unconsciously in your head and you're like, okay, well, I've already spent $200. What's another $75? Then you've spent $275, and then you can sell them something for $50, which they don't care about, which you don't care, right? Because you've already spent. Now you spent $325. This is something that we would capitalize on when I worked in retail, and if we saw, let's say we saw a lady and she's got fucking 10 bags with her like this, we would fucking jump over a, like gunshot victim to go and try and stop her and sell her something because we know that's an easy sale. And not only is it an easy sale, but it's going to be a big sale because they've already spent $1,000. So they'll spend $250 with us. And if they spent more than that, if the bags are Louis Vuitton and Gucci, the sky's the limit. We're selling to their whole fucking family. So that's the attitude that you need to take with this, right? If you sell them something for $3, they'll buy the $5 thing, and then they've already spent $8. So you know what? They'll buy the $10 thing. Then you're at 18, and then they'll buy the $15 thing, and then 20, and then blah blah blah, so on and so forth, until in a session they spent $200, and like they don't even realize it, but they've spent $200. And not only that, during the session, if your chatter has done his job, but he's been nice to them, he's rewarded them, he hasn't been greedy, he hasn't squeezed them dry, so next time this person is online, they might buy again, and then boom, you got yourself a fucking whale. Okay, but like, get this idea out of your head that it's not okay to sell anything for like a lower price than $20. Yeah, fine. There's some people on Telegram who are fucking killer chatters, and like you see their screenshots of like Goodnight John, right? He posts his I think it's him doing the chatting, where like he'll sell pictures of his model's lunch for like $100 and be like, you want to see what I bought today for lunch? And it's like $100 paid. And it's like a bowl of soup. And he made the bowl of soup, you know? You don't know the history of the relationship with that sub. That wasn't like, hey, welcome to my profile. I want to see my soup, $100. Okay. There's a lot of buildup that goes into that. And part of that is going to be selling content for a relatively lower price. And I promise you, if they buy something for $3, you haven't ruined the sub. Okay. You have not ruined them. It's about increasing the, it's like boiling the frog in the water, right? If you put the frog in the boiling water, he's going to realize it's boiling. He's going to jump out. If you put him in cold water, he's going to sit there. He's going to chill. Then you heat it up until eventually it's boiling. You didn't realize what's happening. Okay. The next thing, increase sale price throughout the duration of the session, occasionally sending something for free or at a discount. So, I am okay with sending a free or discounted PPV over the course of a session randomly, not when the sub asks, because you don't want to give the sub control. The sub is not supposed to have control of the conversation. You decide when it's free or when it's discounted. And the reason for this is very simple, right? You start with the small sales, you increase the price, you increase the sale price of further content, but you want to keep it random. Okay. At the beginning, you want to increase it slowly, but then let's say they just unlocked something for $50. The next thing doesn't need to be 60. It doesn't need to be 70. The next thing can be 20. The next thing can be 25, and it can be a longer video than the $50 thing, right? That element of randomness is going to, fuck with their head, and they'll be like, oh my God, like, I don't know what's going on. And it may work. Who knows? Or maybe it doesn't work. I don't fucking know. Up to you to find out. Next thing, do not jump in price too high. Great. You sold something for $3. The next PPV should not be $30. Great. You sold something for $20. The next PPV should not be $90. Like, and this is a symptom of just greedy chatters. That's all it is. Like if your chatters are greedy, if they are not patient, if they are, just fucking around and not taking this seriously. And by taking this seriously, what I mean is they are not spending time trying to build a relationship with the sub, which is where the big money is going to come from, and the whales are going to come from, and the reliable customers are going to come from. Then they're fucking around, and you don't want that. Next one: do not spam mass messages. Use them sparingly when you use them, and when you use them properly. What is the purpose of a mass message? The purpose of a mass message, I'll tell you what the purpose is not. The purpose is not to sell content. What you don't want to do is go full on fish market mode and be like, hey, everybody, or like, hey, babe, guess what? Limited time offer, 8-minute video of me dildoing myself. Normally $199, but for the next, for you, just for you, $29.99. Click buy right now and I'll be your girlfriend forever. Woo. Okay. That's not how you do a mass message. Nobody will buy that. And if anybody buys that, tell me the lottery numbers, because you are a lucky motherfucker. That shit does not work. But that's what chatters do when they don't give a fuck. And you do not want that. That does not work. How should you use a mass message? What is the purpose of a mass message? The purpose of a mass message is to elicit a response. Okay. You want to come up with something compelling so that the sub responds. Any of you who have cut your teeth on dating apps, you know what I'm talking about. When you send an opener to a girl, you're not trying to hit a home run right away. You're trying to get them to fucking respond. If they respond, then you can work your magic. You can fucking talk to them, schmooze them a little bit, and work your way up to like making plans or whatever you want to do. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to send a message. You'd be like, hey, you want to meet me for dinner tonight? She'd be like, loser. He doesn't even know me. He doesn't know anything about me. He doesn't even know what I want. He doesn't know if I'm free. He spent no time, no effort trying to get to know me. Why would I go to dinner with him? Like, if this is the level of effort that he's going to put into talking to me, No, I don't want to go to dinner with you. And they won't even respond. They'll just fucking ghost you. Trust me, it doesn't work. I've tried it. It does not fucking work. If it worked, we would do it. Okay. But chatters are stupid. They don't care. Like I really don't know. I don't know why they still do it. I have no idea. Maybe it works just enough. So like they report their fucking $100 shift and they're like, and you're just like, okay, well, I don't have time. I don't want to hire and train new chatters. So I guess $100 is better than nothing. A mass message is designed to elicit a response. So what you want to do is you want to take some time. Why don't you do this? Go look up the best openers for dating apps. And when I say for dating apps, I don't mean, what I mean is like for men, for dating apps. Like if you're trying to get a girl's attention on a dating app, you guys know who do dating apps. You know how it is. Girl, you make a fucking female profile on Bumble or Tinder, and within an hour, she's got 1,000 likes. You got to stand out. It's not easy to stand out. But if you come up with a good opener, you may stand out. So you got to come up with that shit. And there are some good ones out there. I won't tell you what they are now, but like go do your fucking research and figure it out. That is my system for chatting. Oof, that was a long one. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to like and comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.